Hi guys, this is Julie and this is Semi-Balanced. I have a super special guest with me today. His name is Reverend Marcus Brown, also known as Metaphysical Mark. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram, but he's quite amazing. He specializes in multiple healing techniques and teaches these methods as well as practices them. Some of the services he offers include spiritual life coaching, which is basically hands-on questions and answers, varied topics concerning all three bodies. Intuitive reading, pulls a card and gives intuitive perspective on the situation at hand. He does Reiki energy work. And one that kind of intrigued me was soul retrieval unification, which I'm totally gonna like probe him on because I don't know exactly know what that is, but it says helps one view themselves from this soul level and connect with their authentic self. So I just want to know a little more about that also. But I am going to bring him on. Welcome. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me on. How are you doing?
You're so welcome. Oh, and I forgot to tell him about your book. He also wrote a book and has a second one in the line, but I'm going to let him talk to you about all that.
Yes.
But so I brought him on to talk about his journey, and it's got to be a good one, just based on everything that you do. It takes a hard walk of life to have a pure heart. Like you really have to go through it to understand it. Like I only know that because I know my journey and I just
Definitely.
know like you have to be able to feel all of that
Hmm.
and been at the lowest of lows and yeah, I I can feel it. So I'm
Yeah, definitely
excited.
spot on.
Yeah, I can totally. But I just am excited to hear your story. So, yay, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you again for having me on. Like I said, where do I start in the sense of the journey? Like you said, it does take a lot of going through things and overcoming things to get to a level of understanding to where you can view people from a point of love and not necessarily a point of accusation or judgment. It's more of a just understanding that people are people because you're a person. So for me, it started when I was little. I was in foster care since the age of 7 and ended up aging out. So during my experience in that realm and going through things that I went through um, personally, and then also in a turn in the personally inside the household with kids coming in and out and me moving from place to place. It really took a toll on me as a kid to um, actually find that peace and find that resonance of um, what I bring people back to now. It's basically that soul resonance. I really tip my hat off to just my soul, because I believe in reincarnation, definitely. So my soul, as in just enduring so much to be able to come here and not be changed by the world. I always stayed pure hearted since I was a little kid, even though I was going through as much as things I was going through. Never really spoke about it to anybody. I wanted everybody to just see me as me. So it allowed me to really tap into a deeper aspect of myself and a deeper part of my mind, and connect more to source. And that's where I get a lot of my love and understanding for him, because I had to love and understand myself through the process. I had to love and understand my mother through the process, as I got older, and not hold on to the bitterness, to that poison of bitterness, because that will only drive you deeper and deeper into a place where only you can get you out of. So it's good that you brought the soul unification, because that's along those lines of what I offer in sense of services. Is bringing back, um, getting us back to that point of where we were disassociated from our true nature, in the sense of when we were little kids, just being ourselves. when we didn't have no care in the world. We didn't worry about bills. We didn't worry about what people thought about us. We just cared about enjoying and experiencing life. That is the point of reverence that I enjoy to be in, and I try to be in as much as I possibly can, which is why I have devoted myself to doing the spiritual practices and doing the metaphysical understandings and teaching the services and giving it back, because it's a lot that's helped me throughout the years, even as an adult, where situations come up and I can handle them in a more clear mind, in a more response instead of reaction way, emotionally, from that emotional state that I had to really go through and actually get through. So my whole thing is to be what I wish someone was for me in that aspect. And I hold that resonance for just about anybody that I come in contact with, that needs that extra push or the extra drive. So a lot of my story, a lot of my drive, a lot of my expertise comes from experience before I even knew what I was actually, experiencing. So, sitting in my room, being by myself, reading a bunch of books and things like that, have all come back to me now. I'm doing that now. I do, pretty much everything that I used to do as a kid as a living now. I'm helping people, I'm talking to people, I'm enjoying people's company, and I'm bringing light on things that have taken us so far from that enjoyment of life. So that's just a little bit about my story and how, I got into, metaphysics in the aspect of understanding my own journey and not wanting to be bitter with it, not wanting to be hold other people accountable for my own emotions. I got tired of that. Being a little kid in foster care, I got tired of it being easy to judge or blame this person, this person, this person. I wanted to change and take a perspective of, well, what if I wasn't in foster care? What if no one knew I was in foster care?
You
How would
were
I be
playing
treated then?
victim mode, and yeah, you were living in victim mode, and oh,
Hmm.
yeah, I trust me, I was there, so like I understand. And it took me a long time. It took me a really long time and a lot of forgiveness
Hmm.
to learn to let go.
Yeah.
I And when I learned, wow, I'm allowed to let go. Isn't it funny that we go through life and we think we have to hold on, we have to carry all that baggage with us.
Yeah.
And like when we learn, like, wow, what do you mean? I don't need to carry this around anymore. Like it's the most freeing thing in the whole world.
It's a big relief. It's just a big
Oh, yeah.
hypothetical monkey off your back, and you're
Yeah.
1,000 pounds lighter, and you can go
Yes.
around lighter. So then everybody you get in contact with is a byfactor of that. You're touching each one teach one. You're just sparking as you walk along, and just your enjoyment. So um, this is a great thing that you do to hold space for people of different walks of life to come on and express and just be free. That's the
It's
best
it.
the
And
best
I
way to be.
encourage people, a lot of people, they don't want to talk about their story.
Hmm.
I was one of them. Like I was shamed. I was shamed of
Hmm.
everything that had happened to me, even though like, it wasn't really, like I don't know why I felt shame, but I did. And I was so embarrassed to talk about it. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, people are going to judge me. I had all of that. Like my mindset, if you knew me a year ago, you would be like, who is that girl? Because no, like for real. Um, but doing this, I have transformed so much. I've learned to say my voice does matter, my stories do matter. I can help people with everything that I've learned, and just share it free. Like,
Yep.
please, just help yourself. Just take an ounce of what I share, what
Hmm.
somebody else shares, and I just hope that maybe, somebody listening is going to pick something up from you or something, maybe they were in foster care. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
had a
definitely.
lot happen to me. So like there's a lot there, but they're not going to only just resonate with what happened to me. They're going to
Hmm.
resonate with, all the other guests that I bring on, and they get to share their stories. And that's how we all, I don't know. I just look at it as like it's like a big circle of love. Like we're
Yep.
just all reaching our hands out and we're holding each
Hmm.
other and we got you, you know,
Yep.
and
Definitely. And we just have to
band
touch one
together.
or two, and that
Yeah,
one or two would touch one or two, and that one or two would touch
right.
one or two.
And
It's
that's
just,
what it's all about. And I'm like,
hmm
oh yeah. So yeah, that's what keeps me going on this. So
definitely. It's a great platform, and it's a great reason and a great goal to want to reach more people and want to have it in a sense of more people reaching more people. So it's a beautiful way to expand, yourself in the sense of you learning other people and getting more opportunities to experience more things, and people that actually, your listeners and your followers are actually able to connect more with, maybe it's something that they haven't, talked about. Now
talked
they
about,
see someone
right,
talking about it. Now
right.
they feel a little bit more, introverted to actually go into that process of dealing with that and actually, wanting to be like, okay, well, he spoke about that really, really flawlessly and really easy. Like
Flawlessly, right.
and I know that it was a very hard time for him. How can I get to that point? So then it just revolves around and around and around. Just like you said, it's just one big family. So I'm grateful to connect with individuals that are on that same understanding that we're all one, and that, like, you bringing me on as people hearing you as well as hearing me on your platform and on mine. So it's so many different ways to just encourage people to just be and just be free, because, my experience isn't your experience, but somebody has had a similar experience to your experience, that
Right,
didn't have a similar experience to mine. So
right.
it's just a good way to connect and to, especially in this day and age with COVID and everything, with all, it's hard to actually physically connect. It's good to still be able to virtually connect and actually hold a good energy with it and be positive and uplifting and, encouraging. It's great. It's great to
It
see.
is. It really is. And then all like it's a new episode every week. You know, and I know I learned a lot when I first started. I think I was more trying, I was really scared. But I kept it on there for the reason of me going back and seeing the path that I walked as my healing. Like I was afraid my voice was shaky. But I keep it on there. I'm not going to delete it. I'm not going to,
Yep.
no.
Nope.
Yeah. And I had this one episode, and it's probably been my biggest episode yet. And it was called Truth Telling. Be
Hmm.
it, live it, it's my core. It is my core. Um, and it was, uh, I talked about my near death experience when I was younger. And it was funny because while I was recording it, I wasn't too sure if I should share some of the stuff. And I literally feel as though somebody was guiding me
Hmm.
with that, um, because I spoke of it in such a good way. And then I said, but it's not about what I went through. It is why, what I fought for.
Hmm.
And it was like, it just came so like it was, and I was like,
Effortlessly.
yeah. And I was like, this is amazing. And so like I still get tingles. Like I've had a couple of those episodes where I would, like I'm like, no, I literally I gotta get behind the microphone right now because
Yeah,
like
just got to get it out. We have to get it
I
out.
really
Hmm.
gotta get it before I forget, or like I just want it like it's right there.
Yep.
So I'm like, wow.
I call that speaking, literally speaking from the heart. Some of my courses, when I have one-on-one workshops, I go through that understanding with the throat chakra and the heart chakra, and how your throat's connected to, your spirit, your soul, and it's also connected to your mind. So when we speak from our mind, a lot of the times it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of pre-thinking, it's a lot of, having to get the words right, having to do
Right,
this
yeah,
and this.
everything.
But when you're speaking from your soul, it just flows. And then it surprises you because you're like, where did that come from? Well, how
Right.
did that come out so effortlessly, articulated so correctly, no stuttering, no jitters, no pauses, no ands, buts, just flow.
Yeah.
It's just that resonance of just speaking from the soul. It feels good. It feels
It
easy. You know,
feels
it
so good. And I'm just like, and that's how I just let it go anymore. I'm like, no,
mhm,
it has to come from the heart. I lead with my heart and that's it.
yeah.
Like I know if it's right, I know if it's wrong.
Mhm,
Um, I know like if like when I went and fell on your page, I was like, like I felt something, but then I was like, oh, okay, I'll check him out, But I kept getting drawn back. Like I was drawn back like 3 times before I reached out. I'm like, huh, okay, I'll check him out
mhm.
again, like, and so I just, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what this guy is because, like I just want to hear his story. So yeah, I brought you on for that reason.
No, that's
Yeah.
a great reason. That tends to be how it works. I do the same thing when I'm like on my Instagram and I'm scrolling through and I see something. I'm like, who's this? And I'll look and I'm like, I'm instantly messaging like, hey, do you want to go live? Like it like as soon as you can, just because of that pull, that resonance. Because I'm a Leo, so I do everything with my heart. So I'm heart led naturally. So that's why I get a lot of my intuitive, understandings. It's just okay, if my heart's drawn to it, then that means it's something that my soul is wanting me to pay attention to,
Right.
or to connect to, or to for some reason, um, you know, I stopped putting, reasons on things because it's never how the universe works so unexpectedly.
Mysteriously,
And
yes.
yes, when they say God works in mysterious ways, they did not lie, because it's so many ways that you would think, and then you will be turn a 180 and you're like, oh, this is why I'm here. It happens to me all the time. So it's
Right.
it's it's a good it's a good way to to show that example of just being aligned, is you really hearing those intuitive nudges and feeling them and actually acting off of them. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't take the action. So I'm glad that you were drawn back and then you took the initiative, because I was like, oh yes, perfect. I definitely would love to do this.
Yeah. It was just something and I'm like, okay, I'm drawn back. If I'm drawn back a couple times,
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, there's something here that like I need to investigate. What do I need to, I need to probe a little more. So I'm glad I did. You're a very nice gentleman and you have a story to tell, and everybody needs, like the more light we can shine in this world,
Hmm.
that is what it's about. It's
Definitely.
when my light shines and I'm talking to you and your light is shining, that's
Just
really bright,
radiating.
right? Like that
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
really bright. And that's what I love about this is like some of the people that um I've got to meet in like UK, and I have a
Yeah.
lady from Dubai coming, on Saturday, and I'm like, I'm just kidding. Like, where are these people coming from? But this is amazing. Like, it is just the best. And I'm like, I feel like it's a blessing in some weird way because all these great people I get to
Hmm.
talk to, hear their stories, learn from them, like
Yeah.
all
All
of
over the
that.
world. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. It's
it
beautiful. It's
is.
beautiful. Like
So where are you
I've
from?
I'm originally from Florida, but
Oh,
right now I'm in Colorado,
okay.
because I just joined a church called the Awakening Soul Church to collab and bring my efforts to just bringing understanding to um, integration. A lot of people are either too left or too right, in a
Yes.
sense of, yeah. So it's good to find that balance, and it's me and 3 other individuals, including the founder of the church herself, and we all just came from different backgrounds, different understandings, to that middle ground of what's the best way to have people understand that they are physical beings, spiritual beings, and emotional beings, all in the same, and how to correlate that and make it work, because a lot of people either go to one side where they are either too spiritual, or they're miserable here on earth because of how, detached they come from their physical beings. And you have people that are very physical, that they discard any type of
Any
understanding
type
of
of, yes,
of
I know,
of, of anything else.
I know.
So it's such a gray area that we're really trying to bring awareness of, because that's the bigger picture. We're here for a reason, and it's to experience. And with that experience, we learn more about who we truly are, and remembrance, bringing us back to that. And as we remember, we have to give that back. We have to start radiating that. So then, giving it back to others, it fuels us. Doing what I do, as with my Reiki sessions, with my card readings, even with my book out, and just the amount of appreciation for the work, their appreciation, their love, their um, growth that I see fills me up to where words can't even explain it. It's such a great feeling that it's what I know I'm here for, because of the way that it makes my soul feel.
Right.
So it's just giving people that understanding of, that oneness, and that we're here for a reason. We're here to experience and to come as a unit and experience each other, commune, and get back to that aspect of, truly doing that. So right now I'm in Colorado. And we plan on doing some retreats in the near future, very near future. So I'll be, all over, but I'm originally from Florida. Right now I'm in Colorado.
Okay, I'm in Florida.
Yes. Oh, got you. Yes, how's the weather down there?
Beautiful. Yeah, you guys are pretty cold, I bet.
Yeah, that's one thing I definitely miss is that Florida weather.
Oh, this weekend was beautiful. It was so nice. But okay, I won't rub it in anymore. No, that's a really beautiful thing. That is an amazing thing that you guys are doing, and it needs to be done. It needs to
Yeah,
be done,
definitely.
and good for you. I
Yeah.
mean, that is a beautiful thing. So that's fantastic. So, Mark, tell us about your book. 12 lines or 12, what is it? 12.
Oh, it's a guidelines to grace. It's 22 spiritual based life hacks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yes, yes.
fantastic.
So
And
basically, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Nope, go ahead.
Basically, it came about 3 years ago. I did a video series where I basically did the same thing you're doing with, starting out with the shaky voice and trying to find your footing. So it's comprised of 22 of those videos that I did for, I think it was a 8-month period of, I did a video a day based off of a subject. I just let it flow out, just let it flow out, just let it flow out. Because I wanted to let my soul speak. And as the videos came out, they they got some traction, but not as much. So I just kept them. I just kept a lot of them just in the archive, because a lot of the information didn't come from me, they came through me. So a lot of the words hold a different resonance. Even for myself, I have to go back and reread it, even though
Reread it.
I
Yeah.
wrote it. So it's just 22 basic life hacks that are geared around the spiritual, the physical, and the mental aspects of life. And it's very simple, so it's not too, in depth of too many ways of any of those three. And it's comprised of basic things you can take with you on your journey, basically at any age, from teen to elder.
Okay.
It's no bias. It's from a beginner state to adept state. It's just, you can go and view it as devotional. You can open it up every day if you want. You can take, one life hack and just study it, which I have a lot of people that really just take it and are really studying it. A lot of people tell me they can't grab it without grabbing their highlighter and their pen with it. which is a good thing because it's a lot of depth in those simple words that are in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go more into it, it just leads you more into yourself. It's very introspective in the sense of as you read it, it seems like it's very video based still. So it seems like I'm talking directly to you. So the feel of it is very personal. So then you can take the information and reflect it on your own experiences as I give you my own experiences and talk about my walks based off of these life acts.
Oh, that's great. That's a fantastic. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's fantastic. Yeah, I
Mhm.
saw it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's
Um,
definitely very, very, I recommend it for people who are just wanting to get a basis of how they can understand themselves more. It's a lot of good tools of just basic things to understand yourself.
there's so many tools out there. When you start
Hmm.
really learning yourself, it's complex.
It
It
really is. It
really
really is. They don't
is.
teach you this in school.
I'm like, why don't they teach this in school? Because
Yeah.
this is like what needs to be
What
taught,
you need. Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
Like, I mean, we don't need all the geometry and everything else.
Like we need to
Yeah,
learn interpersonal relationships, how to, go about things. We would
right.
be a better
When you
society
get
if we didn't.
depression and
Hmm.
anxiety and things like it, tell me that that should not be in schools, especially now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
mean, you have kids, like not to bring the sore subject up, but you have kids shooting kids. Like
hmm
it's a rough world.
yeah.
It really
It's
is. I'm like,
and it's all
wow.
mental health and it's all just how to deal with life. Yeah, and it's the basics of life. It's how to deal with life. And it's just what we've been, covering up for so long. I think it's time to really break down that wall and
Oh, I'm so
um,
glad
you
you
know,
said that. I believe that too. 2020
mhm,
lifted every veil that was
definitely,
out there and was
definitely.
like, yo, fix it.
Yep,
Y'all
yep.
did this shit.
Like this
Now
is
fix
this is
it.
what yep, this is what it is, guys.
Yeah.
Are we gonna continue or are we gonna realize
Yeah.
this is not gonna work if we continue? This is
That's what
this
I
is
feel
bad.
like happened. I'm like, wow. And
Hmm.
everybody's like, oh, 2020 sucks. I'm like, dude, I mean, maybe I'm just looking at it in a different way, but I
Which
found
is
it
good.
to be, like, I didn't look at it as 2020 sucks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, COVID was not a good thing, but it was also a disguise while everything else was being unveiled.
Hmm.
Like it kept us busy in so not so much of this was
Yep,
happening. So more people woke up and said, yo, let's fix this.
exactly. Like, hey, what's this? What's
Like
this?
I
What's this?
believe
It,
that
it
was
gave people
so
time.
divine. Not that,
Yeah.
like, but I don't know. It's
No,
just
it definitely was. I'm as a person that's been like I'm very intuitive, so I've been picking up on things for a while. So when 2020 happened, I was like, this is great. This gives everyone a time to literally stop doing what they're
Mhm.
doing and literally take a break and reflect on their lives. You can't go anywhere. You have to go inside. You
Yeah,
have to be with your family that you say that you love so much.
right.
Let's see if this is going to work. If not, are you happy? Is you going to be happy? Find your happiness. What makes you happy? Your job that you're at for 20 years, they just let you go. Like now you
Right.
see that, that wasn't as reliable as you thought. So what are you really wanting to do? It was such an opportunity for introspecting. And if people, a lot of people didn't like it because it's like we said, it's very hard work to really look at yourself, you know, honestly. It's not it's very vulnerable. And a lot of people don't like that vulnerability. But 2020 made everything open and everybody was offended or opinionated. And I was just looking at it like this is America. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna this is the world. We're gonna look at 2020 and be like, this was the turning point. This was the turning point.
Right. And I'm gonna be like saying this years from now, like I almost feel like Mother Nature put us in a timeout. Like, look at the
Hmm.
skies. The 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 planes were grounded.
Yep.
All the ships were at dock.
Hmm.
The
No
oceans
cars.
weren't
Yep.
getting polluted, like everything was just like healing,
Hmm. Yep.
beautifying that way, where the humans were inside and they had to deal with their own things.
Hmm.
So yeah, like no, I thought it was the best thing in the whole world. Did I like to, I didn't really mind it, honestly. I started a podcast, like I worked around it. So yeah, like I mean, you just find a way.
Hmm.
You do what you can do, and as long as you're doing it with love, that's all that
Yep.
matters, and it's gonna work because you're doing it with love.
Yep.
So,
Definitely.
and I believe that. That's just I believe it with all of my heart. I'm
Same.
like,
I've lived it. So that's why I tell them, like, everybody, I literally been living my life with love.
yeah,
Just getting over things and just seeing what's next, keeping my
right.
heart open and pure and just understanding. And that's my testament, honestly, to people, is live through love in the sense of real understanding of love.
It's so
Like
funny
the
because some of my family are like they always call me like I literally like I'm the flighty one or the one I kind of just go with the flow. That's just me.
yeah.
Always been me. Like I literally just whatever, like it'll be good. And they're like so boop 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 boo
Hmm.
and they're like I don't know, and they're always like, oh, it always seems to work. Yeah, it's working out. Funny, I was having a conversation with my sister, and she's like, oh, so how'd you do that? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I just got
I don't
behind.
know, it just
Like,
worked out.
I'm like, I totally, it just was all good.
It just, yep, you just
It
went with the
just
flow. I
happened.
just I just felt led and
Yeah,
I walked.
yeah. Like, I had an idea, and that's what I did. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, but those are the way the best things happen sometimes. And I
Hmm.
just I
Definitely.
just believe it. I'm like, I think we're just people that walk and lead with their heart, you know.
Yep.
I
Always
think
will
they're
go
directed.
where you're supposed to go.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're directed. And it's like, I don't know if we're shielded because I really, since I've done this, I really like nothing bad has happened.
No, I
Um,
I get you. I definitely understand you.
but because everybody's
You're
like,
living in different
oh,
resonance.
you'll get the wool pull over your eyes, no problem, and I'm sure I can be very gullible and, because I have such a big heart. But, you
But
know,
you've had a big heart for so long. You know
yeah,
discernment now.
yeah,
So
like
it's like
I know all
you,
that stuff. Like,
yeah, it still's not
yeah,
gonna make you be it's
yeah,
just gonna be like, no, I'm
yeah,
still gonna love you. I just know, okay, I'm gonna love you from over here on
right.
this.
So funny. This has been a super great conversation. I want to ask you a series of 10 questions and then
Okay.
I'm gonna let you promote yourself and let everybody know where they can like follow you and get your book and all that good stuff.
Sounds
Uh,
good.
but these I ask everybody that comes on my podcast these
Mm.
questions. What is the greatest lesson that you've ever learned?
The greatest lesson that I ever learned was self-love.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a hard one. I had a hard time with that one too.
Hmm.
Forgiveness was was difficult because I realized it was a continuous journey sometimes for
Yep.
some of those tougher things that you had
Definitely.
to keep giving forgiveness to and letting go. Yeah, that one was a little hard for me. What are you learning now?
Now I'm learning more of I'm moving more so out of a survival instinct mindset of being, just years of having to work extra hard to get what I wanted,
Still
to
there?
now more of an allowance and working with the flow. an understanding of more of that and allowing that paradigm to change.
Nice. I want to get there. I'm still, I'm still struggling with that one, but I'm
The
still on
process
the
is definitely
journey.
a process.
The journey, yeah, the journey hasn't ended. I got this. How has failure shaped your life? This is my favorite question out of them all.
Oh, it's tremendously. It shaped my life in every way of just adversity and overcoming. It's showed me myself, that I can make it through anything. As long as I have my mind right, I can make it through anything. Failures have showed me ways to succeed.
Fantastic. I know. I always think I did a podcast on it. I look at failure as a teacher.
Hmm. Definitely.
And and I try to like let my listeners know, because I kind of put it in a perspective of, as babies,
Hmm.
when we're learning to walk, how many times do we fall? Come on,
No,
right?
so
Like,
many, so many, so many. We get tired of falling. Then
right? We
we.
get back up and we're all like, or we try to learn how to climb. Do you know how long we hold on to something? You ever watch a baby and they're trying to get their little booty up there,
Yes.
and they won't give up, and they're like, no, I got this,
Nope.
right? Where does that go? We lose it.
Hmm.
Why? And I just love trying to channel my inner child, like bring it out. I think that's why I'm so like because I do that.
Yeah.
but but yeah, I look at failure as a teacher, and I think it's the greatest thing. I always get off topic.
Same.
I'm sorry.
Likewise.
I like
No,
talking.
you're fine. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. This is.
So who do you know that I should know?
Hmm. Um. Everyone at Awakening Soul Church.
Ooh,
So
Awakening Soul Church.
yes.
Okay.
So if you go to www.awakeningsoulchurch.org, you can see all the people that I know that are great people that are just trailblazing right now.
Okay, fantastic. Um, what have this is a funny one, but I have a feeling I know the answer. What have you read that I should read?
Definitely a Guidelines to Grace by Reverend Marcus Brown. He wrote a very good book there.
Really good book, huh? Thought I knew that answer. What have you done that I should do? Ooh, this should be a good answer.
That's a hard one. That's really a hard one.
You look like a traveling guy and a guy with a caring, helping heart.
But I feel like you're the same. I feel like we're very similar in the
But
sense
that's
of
what
just.
it's so like. What have you done? What have you like gone on some peace treaty, or like, I don't know, like,
Oh, okay. Well, just
it could be anything. It doesn't have to be,
okay. I'm trying to think. I'm like, oh man, this is a hard one. Out of all the questions, this is what I get stumped on. I would say just if you haven't done your ancestry report, I done my ancestry report. I had to find out some lineages of DNA. So if you haven't done that, I'd suggest that.
Oh, okay. I really haven't done that yet. I don't know
Okay,
why,
good.
but I haven't. But that's something interesting. I get a lot of different answers on that. I like the typical, like, oh, you should go skydiving, or and I'm all like, okay, that's not what I was looking for. I never say that though. How can I add value to you?
Continuing to do what you're doing here on this planet.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Please. Yes.
Oh,
definitely.
thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Definitely.
What has helped you the most on your healing journey?
And meditation has helped me a lot on my healing journey. That's one of the tools that I recommend to anybody on any level ever. Meditation, please.
I agree. I agree. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Really does have an effect. What do you think is the first step to awakening your heart?
To awakening your heart, the first step I would say is forgiveness.
That
Forgiveness
was
of
my answer.
self.
Oh, good. Yes. Once you learn to really forgive,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is like imagine like church doors here, like literally they just open,
Yep.
like
The
literally.
floodgates just
Yeah.
open and pour
Like,
through just love.
yeah,
Just
it totally is.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, damn. Yeah, I agree. You're the only one that has said that. So I'm like so excited. I'm like, okay, that's my answer. If you were given the opportunity to create a billboard that the entire world would see, what would it say?
If I was to create a billboard that the entire world would see, it would probably say love in big, bold letters. And then below in regular font, it would say starts with you.
Oh, that was a great answer. That was my billboard too. We have a lot in common. I'm just saying. I now know why I was supposed to talk to you. I'm like, okay, I'm getting it.
Like mines, like mines.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I get you. That's great. I'm like, I was trying to find, like, I know I'm vibing with you, and I was like, okay, there's a reason why I'm getting it now. I'm like, okay. um those were beautiful answers, obviously, because a couple of them are mine. But anyway, tell my listeners how they can get a hold of you and how they can get a hold of your book and all the good stuff that you do.
Okay, so on my Facebook, Instagram, and my LinkedIn, you can find me underneath Metaphysical Mark. On YouTube, you can also find me on Metaphysical Mark as well. For my book, it's on Amazon in the Kindle version and the paperback version. And you can either type in Reverend Marcus Brown and it'll pop up, or A Guide's Lines to Grace, and then it'll pop up as well. And that's all on Amazon. And you can also funnel to my website as well, which will take you to just more of my services that I offer and pricings and things like that and packages at www.markmetaphysicalministry.com. And with Mark is MARC. So you can find everything there. And also just be on the lookout for just announcements and things underneath the awakeningsoulchurch.org. That'll be a lot of the places where you'll find, workshops, retreats, and if I will be in the area, because like I said, we're a traveling ministry, so we'll be moving around a lot. So
Okay, I am going to link also the Awakening Soul Church on your episode when I publish it.
okay.
And I'll put your website up there also, where they can go ahead. Cool.
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds great. This was beautiful. Thank you so much for spending
Thank you
time
for
with me.
thank you for having me on and for reaching out and following your heart the most. Thank you for following your heart. It's
Oh,
a
you're very
pleasure to
welcome.
connect with people
I
that
do
are
that with joy. I literally like, hey, what's it gonna bring this time? I never know. It's like a little adventure we go on every day.
Yep, that's life. You gotta love it. It makes it that much more enjoyable.
It totally does. This has been so great. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I will definitely stay in contact with you and
Definitely.
See how things are going for you, check in with you and all that good stuff. because I
Definitely.
feel like, hey,
Soul Tribe.
yeah, a soul tribe. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to call it a night. But I really appreciate you on the podcast. And, maybe I'll bring you on again and, you'll have your second
Definitely.
book out and we could talk about that.
Definitely. Thank you again.
Fantastic. Thank you. Have a good night, hon.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.